I want to introduce you to a new series today. This time I want to talk about note taking. I'm going to be doing this over several videos, and I think this is going to be fun because it'll be something other than this consumerist orgy that this channel kind of can be sometimes when it's all about reviewing fountain pens. Instead, look at using them because that's why I got into fountain pens is because I use them. So I'm going to show you one little area where I use them. Now, on that topic, and by the way, you just saw my attempt at creating my own titles. Still don't have musical talent, so it's iMovie Music, but my own titles. All right, so what got me into it is a couple weeks ago, Larry Barones did a review of some scientific notebooks, and one of the ones he held up was this one. Now, this is not the notebook Larry Barones held up. This is my notebook from college, probably 1996, 1997, somewhere in that time. Clearly I didn't put a date in it, but let's see here. And I'm not going to page you through this whole thing, but I do notice that I didn't put dates or anything in this. But what we were expected to do is a class called Radiation Lab, and we were expected to record our experiments. You have to record the apparatus. This is one of the professor's comments. You had to record results. Excuse me. You had to record graphs. And of course, this is the 90s, so a lot more graphs by hand. Although you'll find in here I did tape in a few graphs, made on a computer. But anyway, the moral of the story here, yeah, even back in college I liked squirrels. But the moral of the story here is notebook. Now, admittedly, for whatever reason, I was using ballpoint when I recorded all this. I was a fountain pen user at the time, but if I couldn't find refills for my Parker Vector, which is what I was using, I would switch over to my ballpoints, Parker Jotter. So this is all Parker Jotter notes. I don't actually see any, yeah. Well, okay, we could wander through history here and study this notebook, but why would we do that? What I would really like to talk about in this series of videos is the actual process of note-taking. Now, in order to prepare this, I took some notes. So let's throw this under the camera. And I really hope this is recording because it's very choppy on my computer screen. This is notes I took before making this video. And what I'm doing here, this is just me, what am I going to talk about? So when I talk about note-taking for this, I do not mean taking beautiful, pristine notes that you can just frame. I'm talking the actual process of note-taking. And there's several different techniques for note-taking. And that's what I want to get into. Note-taking is a valuable skill. Couple reasons. And I put them here on my list. Write it down to remember it. I find that I forget stuff. I was taking pictures for the paper at the Pops concert tonight. Our high school does a Pops concert Sunday nights once a year. And anyway, so I was taking pictures of it and talking to the paper editor, and somebody came up to him, gave him some statistics on it. He's like, shoot, I better text myself so I don't forget all these numbers. That's why you take notes. All right, so one, I don't know if this is for you, but for me, helps you pay attention. And by the way, you're seeing my handwriting more when I'm not writing for other people. When I take notes, I'm more likely to pay attention to what I'm hearing. So when I go to a school board meeting, I take notes. Now, it's a double-edged sword, because sometimes if you're really boring, I'll start writing down things of my own and not even thinking about taking notes on the topic. But, let's go with this. Taking notes helps you process it. You're engaging, I know this is a pencil, but we'll just pretend. When I do this, I'm engaging my muscles and my ears and my brain, all of them working together. So that's pretty awesome. And when I say process, what I mean is you're actually reinterpreting it possibly. You're picking out, well, what's important, what's not important. And that'll help you understand it. Now, one of the things to think about is what actually is the purpose of your note taking. You may have a purpose of remembering stuff. It may be just quickly, okay, just till I get home. It may be long term. It may be you're listening to a lecture. Maybe you're watching a movie. And do I take notes on everything? No. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube videos where I don't take notes because it's just kind of like I'm half paying attention. Okay, so what I'll be doing a lot of here in these videos is formatting. Now, I listed a couple possible formats of notes here, and I don't want to get too crazy into that. Your outline list, which is how this one started, sketch notes, there's T notes, Cornell notes, matrix notes, color, mind maps, diagrams, all kinds. So I have a lot of material here. I will say paragraph notes are generally bad. I used to have a teacher who gave them to us as paragraphs. I mean, he would stand up and he would read off his paragraphs of notes and we would write them down word for word. History teacher, imagine that. And the big thing here, it must make sense to you and to your content. And I wrote some stuff in here for myself because as a teacher, I have to think about that also. Am I making it easy for my students? Am I organized, or am I flopping all over like a dead jellyfish? That didn't make sense. Pen versus pencil. I'm a fountain pen guy. I've always liked pen. I even do math with a pen. I mean, that's the kind of how I roll. Pencil rubs off, but you can fix it. And when you're taking notes, your big idea, what you're looking at is your big ideas. What's important? What do you want to remember a year later? Do you need to remember that, this guy was king of France in the year 1348? I don't even know if France had a king in 1348, but we'll just pretend. Who cares? Really? But some of the bigger ideas, like, the French Revolution, understanding what caused that. Kind of important. How did it influence other cultures? How did it affect Europe in the long run? Important. How did it play into the American Revolution? Important. So when you take notes, that's generally what you want to do. You don't want to do verbatim notes. And I'll just say, you've probably been taught bad habits in school. So let me just tell you something, me personally. I remember as a student, I had a teacher that required us to take all of our notes in outline form. And I don't mean loose outline like this. I mean the rigid Roman numerals, capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, lowercase Roman numerals, and so on. The whole hierarchy, and we had to have it exactly right or we'd get points taken off. Really? What's the point? It has to, and not verbatim. I've been guilty of this too. What I write down, I expect my students to write down. Well, not paying attention to me. They're just waiting to see what do I write down so they can copy it in their little notebook. Well, no, that's not how you do it. So I've been slowly getting away from that. I've been doing better the last 2 years, I have to say, but I'm not there yet. Not where I want to be. But a lot of teachers teach bad habits. I've known teachers that require their students to memorize specific definitions word for word, and they better get the punctuation right, or it's wrong. When you take notes, look for connections and meaning. See some arrows and so on here. I've been known, because I default toward outline, sort of a modified outline, but I've been known to draw arrows to things. This connects to this up here. But the connections should be meaningful to you, not to somebody else. And I will also point out, are your notes rough draft on the spot? Or is this something you're doing later? Rough draft on the spot notes might be kind of sloppy and messy. And they might be whatever's easiest for you. Later, when you try and organize it all, you might take them in a different format. Just something worth keeping in mind. So what I'll be doing in this series is we'll look at several different types of notes. I have a few written down here. I'm also going to look at some of the ideas behind notes, color and illustrations. These are notes. Rewriting notes, how to study possibly, taking notes on paper versus technology. I just discovered that my work computer has what's the program called? OneNote on it. I can take notes with my Wacom Graphics tablet. Who knew? Handwritten notes on a computer. Wow. I mean, I have this iPad that's running the camera. I did buy a stylus for it, but the OneNote is kind of promising. So maybe layout, storage of your notes, those kinds of things. So yeah, that's my plan with this series. So today was just an overview of what's coming. Again, because I'm a fountain pen user before I'm a fountain pen buyer. I love them because I use them. And, that color thing fits right in with my fountain pen love. So that's what I want to do. And here is me showing you a way to use them. And even if you're not a student in school, I think you'll find some useful things here. Now I will just throw out a couple other little things. When I say it might be useful to you, those of you who've been in the fountain pen world for a while know what this is. This is a Midori Traveler's Journal. And this is my dot journal, and it's a notebook where I write down ideas. You'll see sketches in here, all kinds of stuff. Mostly words. I have a calendar here. I have the dot journal. So I do take notes. So, this is something for all of us, really. So I hope this was interesting. Hope it was useful, and I hope this series is helpful. So until then, happy note-taking, happy fountain pen using. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.